there's something about Korra and that show that people really show up for it. Well, they really just wanted my voice. You know, a lot of us who did the show were like, what kind of crazy voice should I audition with? And they're like, we like your voice. So she's, you know, in that way it feels very personal because it's easy to put on that voice mask when you sound like someone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the phenomenal Korra herself. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Grew up with this character, and you've just done such a phenomenal job with the character, truly. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Joshua. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, a little icebreaker I like to do is, you know, since we're here at Atlanta Comic-Con, what's your experience with Atlanta or just the South in general? Have you been to Atlanta a lot?
My friend, have I been to Atlanta? I started coming to Atlanta in 2007, I think, hosting a little show called Dinner and a Movie over at the Turner Studios. So I would be here about 6 times a year, all through the year. I did that for, I think, 7 years. So I did that. And then I did a show called Stand Against Evil that shot here. I got to do some episodes of The Game, which was a pleasure and a joy. I mean, I've shot a lot of stuff here, so this feels like home away from home for me. This is where I saw my first fireflies, which means that I'm from the West Coast, so I didn't realize that if you're going to go see fireflies, you shouldn't run into a ravine and watch them because the mosquitoes will eat you alive. So I was looking at the fireflies, I said, oh, Atlanta, I love your fireflies, and I looked down, I had shorts on, my legs were covered in mosquitoes.
Yeah, the South don't mess around.
This is how you learn. Piedmont Park, I see you, Piedmont Park.
That's one of my favorite parks in Atlanta. Atlanta, just Georgia in general, has such beautiful scenery.
Love the Beltline. That green belt is so lovely.
Yeah, that's what.
Tiny doors.
Oh,
I love Atlanta's tiny doors. It's my love. I love Atlanta very much. I love the culture. I love the food. It's great.
110% agree with you on that. Well, I've noticed that you've been doing a ton of cons recently. I know you've done like Nostalgia Con and a few other stuff. I'm sure you're doing San Diego Comic-Con next week.
Yeah.
What has been the most rewarding experience about coming to conventions and just meeting old friends and making new ones?
I mean, that's it. You said it. It's definitely for us, especially with Avatar. We try to tell people who are part of that universe, who haven't really had the experience of coming and doing cons, that like the feedback of like getting to do this thing that we just did together in this room with our director, the difference of like having that experience and like getting a sense from online that people like it, and like having the one-on-one face-to-face exchanges with people where they talk about how much it means to them. We get very greedy for it because it makes us feel like we did something that mattered, and it makes us feel like we helped. You know, the world is a crazy place. So knowing that you were a little part of something that helped someone get through the day or inspired someone to go do their artwork or their career has been the most beautiful gift. It's far more important than like the process of getting to do it or any money or anything like that. It's all about the people. It is.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I've heard so many stories about how much not just Avatar means, but all of these franchises that come to cons mean to so many people, especially with myself. I remember watching Legend of Korra when it premiered. I just remember like being so happy that this universe was back and being so happy seeing. I mean, season 1 I feel is like so good. Like that is a phenomenal piece of television. Like what they did with Amon.
I know.
I mean,
well, you know, because we were also, I love the first series, and we were also used to like Ozai as the big bad. That was pretty simple. And then here Korra starts, and it's like, oh wait a minute, he's got some good points. Like you can see how we create, and I do this podcast called Braving the Elements with Dante, where we talk about the first series. Now we're into Korra, and we spend a lot of time talking about like we make our monsters. Like culturally, we got to be responsible for how things get to a place where you have an Amon who's saying, like, why don't we just take everyone's bending away? For all of these people to listen, to show up for that, you got to take a look at it and make those changes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that Legend of Korra talked about, and unfortunately is still very relevant to this day.
That's right.
When you see how art reflects life in that way, what does acting and bringing these phenomenal stories to life mean to you, and how does that help you as a person kind of reconcile with what's happening in the real life, life?
I mean, again, you said it. It's like both my parents were teachers, and so I watched the difference that they made in people's lives, and I saw how much a person can inspire you to take action, to become something more than you thought you could on a day-to-day basis. Shout out to all my teachers out there. Y'all deserve $1 million a year.
Yes.
If I can make that happen, I will. It's crazy. We got to value that more. And so for us, again, getting to do something that we see can have that inspiring effect on people. I think the hardest part for all of us is taking that inspiration and understanding that the art is teaching us something and inspiring us, and then putting that into action, putting that into practice. And it starts small with just being kinder to each other, but it also means showing up for your community and showing up for and making the place that you want it to be. We should feel empowered, and I think a lot of the time we are told from the outside that we are empowered, and we have to take that power.
110%. Two more questions I want to ask. We're talking a lot about love and community, but I also know that when Legend of Korra first came out, there was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of, and there still is some debate in the fandom. But you know, the funny thing about fandom is like it all comes back around. Yeah. So my question for you is, how did you feel about, obviously when Korra came out, social media wasn't like, I mean it was there, but it wasn't the biggest thing.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that? Because Korra is such a great character, you did a great job. How do you reconcile that as an actor when you're so proud of the work that you do, but there's tons of people who are just I don't know. How do you deal with that? Because that does happen a lot in the industry, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Well, it's comforting because so many franchises go through that. So I have so many actor friends who are I know, blah blah blah. And we've all done it, you know. There are movies I saw in the Marvel franchise where I'm I don't know. The difference is I don't go spend 24 hours online being mean about it. So I guess that goes back
because you have a life.
How to be inspiring. And I don't mind some debate, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I love the first series. I don't know if I could choose or if I would even pick one. I don't know. I also love that show from day one. So I get it. However, the good news is for the first couple of years that I was doing cons and stuff, I mean, no one was coming at me personally. Those conversations were happening on Reddit. No one was saying Janet Varney's a bad person. So it took me a long time to realize how much people were fiercely debating all of that. But by that point, I had already had so many experiences with people who were you helped me get through my PTSD. You helped me come out to my parents. You helped me understand that I don't have to do everything on my own. And I will take 1,000 haters for every one person who feels touched by the thing. You know what I mean? 100%. So, and there's something about Korra and that show that people really show up for it, and I think they show up for it more because there are people online who are I don't like girls. So it makes the Korra supporters so fierce and so lovely. So I'll be the underdog all day. You know what I mean? It's worth it.
Last question, because I want to talk about where does Korra come from you personally? Even down to the voice and down to the personality. Yeah. Where does Korra sit with you?
Sure. Well, they really just wanted my voice. You know, a lot of us who did the show were what kind of crazy voice should I audition with? And they're we like your voice. So she's, in that way, it feels very personal because it's easy to put on that voice mask when you sound like someone else. It's not as personal. And for me, I always really identified with the feeling of other people telling Korra she was good or that she was good at this, but she wasn't good at this. And it really made me remember that we believe the stories that people tell us. So we also need to be really careful with the stories we tell people about who they are. Because if you expect someone to be amazing at something and then they're not, it kind of breaks their brain if they're not. Versus just having that support and not having those expectations. Because she got in her own way so much. But they cloistered her. They put her in this place where her whole life was being the Avatar. It was the opposite of, and in that way it was very similar to Aang, because Aang just wanted to have a childhood. Korra also didn't have a childhood. She also was just training. So I think what I learned from that was first of all, you can fail. It's okay. You can be kinder on yourself about it. And one of the things that I really relate to about Korra is even when she makes a bad choice, she's very quick to apologize. And I have always been that person. Like, I'm not very stubborn about that. You know, I may be stubborn about some stuff, but if I screw up, I'm like, yo, that was me. Like, all I want to do is move on from that and get forgiveness, you know? So that's also very relatable.
You're a very relatable person. You're very kind, and that's one thing I love so much about you, and I truly appreciate you and about what you've done. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with me and just coming to cons. And I've seen so many people just talk so much, so fondly about you, and I completely see it. If you guys see Miss Janet at a convention, please come see her. Thank you so much for joining me. It was so nice to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace, love, safety, guys. Until next time.